Coming at you with another video. That's right, Reverend Sully here. Do we have much pride? Is pride a sin? What is going on in the month of June? It's also Men's Mental Health Month, which I'm a big advocate of. We're going to talk about it all in this episode. That's right, just making a video, putting it out there, seeing what takes or doesn't take here on the grand internet superhighway of information. Reverend Sully coming at you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button, hit that notifications, ring that bell, and please subscribe. We're on the march to 1 million subscribers, and we will one of these days. But let's get to 2,000 first. All right, and everyone new out there, please welcome to the channel. If we met at Dallas Fan Expo 2025 last weekend, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know who you are and how we met. Was it in line waiting for autographs? Was it at the Sigma Comics table? Was it one of the events? You know, the after parties, the mini after parties. I'm just kidding. There's. Oh boy, good to see you out there. I have to wait till the 5-minute mark in order to say what I really want to say about what I want to say about this hearsay and there and he say, she say, they say, what the hey. So it's Pride Month. It is what it is, isn't it? It started off as a weekend and it grew, or is it a week? And it grew into something bigger. It snowballed. It really did. And you can see I'm wearing some Pride stuff right here. I am. And wearing this shirt just now out in public is the reason why I'm making this video. And this is my first time using StreamYard as my recording software. So we're going to see if this actually takes and how it turns out. At least from here, I can share screens. On my the other one's just my camera. It's just my camera, and there's no. I'm lucky to have a pause button. I have a pause button here too, but you know I don't have a means to share screens, which is a big part of presenting a program. This is the Arkham Sessions. They're on my Mount Rushmore for YouTube or podcasters that got me into doing this and to having a message, disseminating it on the internet. And this is all about Batman. It used to be all about Batman. The Arkham Sessions they're by Dr. Andrea Letamendi and Mr. Brian Ward of Southern California. I believe they are of Hollywood. No, they are geeky people, and a weekly podcast dedicated to the observation and clinical analysis of the characters in Batman, the animated series, and then Doom Patrol, and then, they've kept a show going for over a decade. I tuned in about March of 2014, and I've been fans of theirs ever since. I used to do Patreon. I don't do Patreon anymore. They start off on Leather Wings, the first episode of Batman the Animated Series. And what Dr. Letamendi does with Dr. Drea, the Doc Knight, D-O-C, Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, like as in a Batman joke. What she does, she's a clinical psychiatrist. And she psychologically analyzes every episode in a linear progression without spoiling like future episodes and with the anticipation of getting quote unquote new information about the case subjects, about Bruce Wayne, about Batman, about Joker. And also she demystifies bad pop psych when it comes to, depictions of mental health infections on TV, movies, and other media and in comic books. And about saying, no, this is actually bad psych, or this is actually a fair representation of someone's condition. And it's great because it demystifies things, it educates you. Arkham Sessions is one of the best podcasts that you're probably not listening to, and it's evergreen content. You can start off at the beginning on episode 1 on Leather Wings and do a watch along or a sound along, a listen along with a rewatch of Batman the Animated Series, and then they branch off into other animated things, the Doom Patrol, the HBO Max series, that the live action Doom Patrol that was amazing with Timothy Dalton and as Dr. Niles Calder and the whole rest of the gang, and Brendan Fraser as Cliff, the Robot Man, and it's so chock full of quirkiness, of queerness, and of psych. And we get the 5-minute mark. I can drop some F-bombs. I'm going to drop a major F-bomb right now, but it's not the one you're thinking. It's the one that goes with this shirt. So I got this T-shirt from being because I'm a member of the Patreon, and I was a fan of the show. I'm not ashamed to wear their gear, and this is the style I chose: an extra large Arkham Sessions shirt, baseball shirt in black. And I was like, hey, actually the rainbow logo would be the best kind of thing for. Yeah, that was my call. Yeah, sure. And so it's an extra large T-shirt, and I'm a little chubby right now. I'm on the heavy side of Sully right now, and I'm looking to do something about that and slim down, lose about 40 pounds. I could use to lose about 40 pounds and drop a couple of pant sizes, and definitely a shirt size, and definitely get my shoulders a lot. I have like a 44 chest, and I need a 32 waist to get those proportions. You know what I mean? And but yeah, if you're a big fan of Batman the Animated Series, then the Arkham Sessions is the show for you. And I started listening to them early enough and stuck with them, and they're good people, and it's a great show. And this is original art by Sean Tormey, who you might know from several comic books. Most recently, he did Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, a 6-issue mini, which is also a Pride book. It wasn't actually billed as a Pride book last year, but Alan Scott, since Doomsday Clock number 8, I believe, when the reintroduction of Alan Scott into the continuity by Dr. Manhattan, it's not the Earth 2 it's not the new 52 Earth 2 Alan Scott, who may or may not exist out there still in the multiverse. And that in 2011, one of the big things is like, hey, we're going to make Alan Scott gay. Capital G gay. Not just happy, but he likes the company of other men. Who cares? I mean, I'm not one of those people that are just going to throw labels at you. It's like, oh, only a bigot would care. No. It's just more of like, also people that care would be about, why are you changing? This how, why? He was, that's just, isn't that just, post-modernity? Isn't that just changing things for the sake of changing things? I mean, Robin, Tim Drake, he's a teenager. Now he's bi. Same thing with Jonathan Kent, Superboy or Superman or Super Dude, whatever the hell he is. But, it's just like these change, but with Jonathan Kent, there's more of a learning curve there. I mean, because he's a relatively new character. His first appearance was back in Convergence during that DC event where this version of John Kent. Yeah, and he was a kid throughout Super Sons, and then came Bendis, doing something called Soap Opera Rapid Aging Syndrome, SORAS. Any soap fan knows what I'm talking about. When your love interests fall in love, they get married and they have kids. The kids get aged up pretty darn quick, and so within a decade, a kid that should be about 7 years old is now a teenager in high school because they need to support their own teenage romance, first love kind of arc and the trials and tribulations that come with being a teenager. It's called SORAS, Soap Opera Rapid Aging Syndrome. And that's what Bendis did to John Kent. And along the way, they got the idea to, hey, we need more representation in comic books. So they made changes to pre-existing characters. And so now you have, it's June, now you have all these Pride issues, Pride anthology issues from DC Comics or Marvel Comics. And, like John Constantine. I mean, there was one reference in the John Constantine Hellblazer book way back in the early 90s about something he did, a fling he had while he was the lead singer of a punk rock band called Mucous Membrane in the early 80s. And then he got fleshed out to Brian Azzarello's run, To Live and Die in L.A. The whole, I think that's not the title, but it's Brian Azzarello had John use his own sexuality as a weapon against the big bad who was madly in love with him. And so based upon all that, John Constantine is now an alphabet character. And you can't, you know what I mean? So it's, sure, go ahead and have, whatever. I mean, you're a bigot, you're an istrophobe if you push back against this, and because it's all bait and it's all criticism proof, or is it? I don't have to agree to that. It's like, no, I'm going to be critical about this because that's, you know what I mean. Just because you put a special interest coating on this does not make it a Teflon coating, and you're inviting this kind of attention, and when you have ready-made answers for, like, if you get this attention, then it's problematic. So what happened? Where's my F-bomb? Well, I'm walking down the street, coming home from the local comic book shop on new release day, and a pickup truck or something. I didn't even look, but I heard it at the corner of my ear. Flag. The unmistakable sound of a local yokel Bostonian, you know what I mean, salty kid, but it's like, there you go. What's the reason for all of this pushing for, like, rainbow stuff with alphabet people, with all of this, the trans stuff, or and in girls' sports, because it doesn't happen in boys' sports, really. There are probably very, very few instances where there's a transition into boys' sports, but it's more like the other way around, and then you come into fairnesses, and that's a conversation not for this channel. The conversation for this channel is wearing a rainbow like this during Pride Month. I got no problems with that. I may be an alphabet person. Am I coming out to you right here, right now? I don't think so. That's not my intention, and that's not my message. And it's not my leverage either. I have been so unsuccessful in dating over the past 10 to 14 years that maybe I am one of those asexual people. I am the A in LGBTQIA plus. Did I say that right? Maybe I did, because it's so driven into us these days using media and culture, and it's on purpose. But get back to me for a second. You know what I mean? Am I an asexual person? I did go on 5 first dates last year with women, courtesy of Match.com, and I had 0 second dates. And I'm sorry if you think that's some kind of, istrophobic kind of hand gesture. I have another hand gesture. How's that? And one can go easily into the other, and that's how it works. And that's how you make more people. Yay! Love is love. So I'm glad, and made me really think about it for a few minutes too. That happened. Maybe someone would try to start a fight with me over this shirt. Wouldn't that be interesting? But it's more of like, I don't identify as asexual. Maybe I identify as an incel. No, it's mostly voluntary, because I do get a lot of attention on Match.com from women I don't find very attractive. Sorry. I mean, I seriously, I will lose my interest very quickly. I mean, I could be getting laid every weekend if I lowered my standards dramatically. Anyone could. Any human can. I had a wonderful time in my 20s and 30s. You know, I'm more blessed than anyone else out there. I had a lot of fun. I could tell you a thing or two that would make I could tell a thing or two that might make an adult film star blush. Nah, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't go that far. Those people do a lot of different things. But whether I'm the A in the alphabet is beyond this, there, or the other thing. What matters is that, you know, hey, I'm wearing I'm wearing pride colors during Pride Month. I got no problems with that. Why? Because I have gay people in my family, and I always have. I have a gay aunt. I had a gay uncle. And this uncle was not a blood relation. It was my mom's best friend's brother. And it was the 70s, and he was definitely gay. Wicked gay, as we say around here in Boston. Wicked. You know what I mean? He was flamboyant. Like, you know what I mean? And he was out of the closet. And he was like the stented S, the accent and everything, the way that they talk. Oh, Sonia. Oh, gee, that's Uncle Freddy. And that's where I learned how to say. That's where I got the gay lisp, character from. And that was it started. And you hear it everywhere. It's Paul Lynde in 1970s television. That's coding. We call that coding now. We have the vocabulary to call that coding. But Uncle Freddy got laid out on a street in San Francisco one night and he got gay bashed. He got his knee stomped on, and he was crippled for the rest of his life. And he died young in the 80s, either of the drugs or maybe even of HIV. We were kids. We weren't privy to that, and I never asked. But that's how we lost Uncle Freddy. That's a gay person in my family growing up. All right. And then, all right, come friends, gay friends. I'm a cook. I work in so many restaurants. There's nothing more stereotypical than gay waiters or lesbian line cooks and bartenders. And hello, who's touching your food? Who's mixing your drinks? Could they be gay? Chances are it's probably 50-50. I don't know. That's a non-empirical. I got no data to support that claim, but I'm standing by it anyway. So, all right. And so I got family. I got friends. All right. I got work. I definitely work with rainbow people. I definitely work for rainbow people. I have bosses. All right. My client, my guests are definitely a lot of rainbow people. And then there are neighbors and strangers, people who I haven't met. So I have all these people in my life that are gay or on that spectrum. So I have no problems with wearing a pride shirt. And it's Pride Month. It's a bit much. And, for the past 10 to 15 years in media, what you've been seeing the backlash of it, starting now. I mean, people have kind of had enough of it. It's a very small percentage of people. It's overrepresented in media and in culture. And the whole thing with sports, too. It's just what's safe, what's appropriate, what's fair, what has sportsmanship. I mean, these are valid questions to have and not be a phobe or an ist or icky or have no aura or no riz, however the fucking kids are talking these days. It's more of, and I'll tell you this, I started off, what is the whole point of this? It's about normalization. It's so people don't curb stomp my Uncle Freddy ever again just because he was gay. They call that that's a federal hate crime. I mean, that's a hate crime. You know what I mean? That's so a lot of that in things like this happen generationally. They really do. But a lot of that whole push And a lot of that, you see, when you want to know why you consider a lot like the Sesame Street tweet grooming, because it involves adult people's identities and things, but it literally is normalizing things and definitely exposing children to different kinds of people. Now, you can make the case that kids get exposed to people anyway, just by living. Like, I have an aunt. Definitely. You know what I mean? And she always was, and we always did know. And it was like, and we had Uncle Freddy too. And then, so your experience might vary. But what I'm trying to say is something, it's more like, there is a more benign level to this than just trying to have, drag queens in preschools shaking their bits. That's not appropriate. And that's my opinion. And because you're not doing it at old folks' homes. You're not having like a soup kitchen thing either. Or maybe they are. that just doesn't get any press. I don't know. And chances are you don't either. That we only hear about, bringing kids to pride events and having highly questionable adult themes in their purview. I mean, seriously, a kid is a human being, and that's why they call it turned on. It's a switch. You know what I mean? And I mean, geez, I remember but I don't know if kids have the internet. Jeez, we were kids, probably in like first, second, third grade, and we would find nudie magazines, the boys, and we would hide them in the dump or wherever our secret hangout was. There was always a stash of nudie magazines, and they were always wet, not from us because we were kind of too young for that, but you know what I mean. But it was because they were left out in the rain and exposed, the weather. And I mean, I remember seeing my first nudie magazine. I was wondering, what's a blow job? Exactly. I just even an ad in the back for Long Dong Silver. But really, I mean, and wow. All because I'm walking over the bridge, you know what I mean, coming home in Quincy, and someone yells at you, fag, because I'm wearing a rainbow shirt. And the other way around too is the only way we're going to demystify the rainbow in a modern context is if you're a Christian and even, hey, Noah was in Genesis, so you could be Jewish too. And if you're not comfortable with the rainbow, if you can take the rainbow back, because the rainbow was God's promise that he wouldn't try to wipe out, the earth, life on earth through flooding again. And the rainbow was his sign, God's sign, and God's promise to Noah. So take back the rainbow, re-normalize the rainbow, wear it. I mean, if somebody like that dude in the truck, driving by, trying to insult me, I mean, geez. I mean, seriously, will I think twice about wearing this shirt again? No. Should you think twice about not checking out Arkham Sessions? Check them out. I mean, they're really good. They're great. They're good podcasters. It's fun, and you should really reward yourself with a deep and meaningful rewatch of Batman the Animated Series. And they go through every single episode in the movies. And it's really fun. And I'm proud to have, been tuned into them and part of that community. And it was one of the first internet communities I was part of. And they really were a big inspiration for me. And what you're seeing today, doing YouTube shows which could also be part of like podcasts. They're huge Star Wars fans as well. They do a lot of Star Wars material. And if I had to say politically, they seem very center left. So don't go into their house dragging your muddy shoes on their good carpet with any kind of center right to right expectations or statements. You know what I mean? If you're going into my friend's house, you know what I mean, on my word, then don't bring that with you. You know what I mean? Please. And that's about it. So that happened to me. It's Pride Month. I wore a Pride T-shirt, and I was called a fag for it by some, you know what I mean? And wow. Oh well, that's just life. And those are people out there, and you just got to be, mindful. And also, that's about it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, so it's not just Pride Month, though. It's Men's Mental Health Month. So that guy definitely needs a mental health check. You know what I mean? Hope he doesn't get himself hurt someday. Like, saying that to the wrong person. You know what I mean? But also, mental health is something that I've struggled with all my life, and that I've actually made a lot of traction with. And a lot of that traction has to do with adopting gratitude into my life. Gratitude is it's something I wake up with in the morning, and I'm already grateful for 11 different things. And it's like in the past, I've been using a gratitude list for the past 5 years. So it's so buttons. It's gotten the most traction on my mental health and spiritual well-being. More so, and and you know what? If you're not feeling well, check in with your doctor. Get a referral from your doctor. Make sure that the referral is in your network. There's nothing more disappointing and kind of deflating in the experience of seeking mental health and being dropped by your shrink because of insurance reasons. And this is not a story that's not uncommon to people. This is a story that's, how many out there have suffered from the same thing? Does this happen to you? You don't have to, say something in the comment section or anything, but it's quite a common occurrence. Just, on my 6th visit, I got dumped. And that's a really unfair way of saying it too. I could have kept, but I would have had to pay it out of pocket. That's a chance choice. And but that was also one of the last times I allowed myself to be as vulnerable to feel that level of depression. Because about 2019, I also, around that time, before that, that was 2019 when that happened with being let go of by my shrink like that. Was it 2019 or 2020? I think it was 2020. Yeah, early 20. Good question. I think it was 2019. And but then I became aware of the gratitude list, and I've always been a spiritual person. So just gratitude, it's helped me. But so is therapy. And so is psychopharmacology. I suffer from panic attacks, so now I do. And now I'm blessed and grateful to have a doctor that can prescribe to me something that can help me with my most acute panic attacks and anxiety. And so if you have a doctor, you should, or you can always find one. And, there's also free clinics out there. There is a way. If you have the will, you can do it. But sometimes you just can't get through it alone, and you need some help. Asking for help is probably the most difficult thing. So it's not just Pride Month. Have pride in men's mental health. It's Men's Mental Health Month, and that's fine too. It's a month. It's an idea. There's plenty of rooms to share all of these things. And that's what I got to say about Pride Month. Yeah, that happened. So God bless. Namaste. Good luck. and we will see you with more videos. All right, ciao, bye-bye.